So we're gonna be a little bit easier on myself this month with the TBR. Hi everyone, my name is Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is going to be my February TBR using TBR M.A.S.H, which is my TBR game inspired by the childhood game of M.A.S.H. How many times do I say TBR in that opening thing? Every single month it gets to me. Anyway, few quick things to catch up on before I actually play my TBR game and pick what I'm going to be reading next month. So, first one is, I have barely read anything in the month of January. You're going to see my wrap-up come out in a couple of days' time, and I have just not read much at all. Now, usually that would mean that I would take a punishment in this game, but there are a few reasons why I'm not going to take punishment. Number one is I'm not going to punish myself for just really not feeling great and not wanting to read because of that. Like, if it was a case of I had all the time in the world and I just read other things instead, I would potentially take a punishment. Like, that's me just holding myself accountable to things that I said I'm going to do. Although the word punishment is weird anyway. Like, it's my TBR game, I can do whatever the hell I want, but that's a whole different subject. But anyway, I know that that hasn't been the case. Like, I haven't read anything at all, so I'm not going to make myself feel even worse about that fact by taking a punishment in this game. Also, February is a little bit busy for me. Well, February as a whole isn't, but the second week of February, the first full week, but the starting from the 6th basically. Well, actually starting from the 5th. I travelled down on the 5th. Anyway, I am busy. I have a holiday booked in February. I don't know if I mentioned that I'm going to New York for a week. You may have heard me say it once or twice if you watched any of my other videos, but that does mean that I do not expect to read a lot. Like, when we're there, we don't really have a lot of free time. Like, even in the evenings and things, it's not like a case of we're going out sightseeing in the day and then we'll come and unwind in the hotels in the evening. No, we're going to be at a Broadway show literally every evening that we are there, apart from the first one, because we didn't want to book something just in case flights are delayed. But every other evening we are going to be in a theatre, so there is no point in me saying that I'm going to read my normal amount in February, because I know I'm not. I'm just not. So what I've decided to do is first not take the punishment, and then also usually there are things within this game that mean I have to pick extras. I am removing one of those. I'm keeping one of them in, but I'm going to remove the other one. And also, if I do happen to fail this by the time it rolls around to March, we're not taking a punishment then either. We're gonna set a loose TBR. We're gonna use TBR M.A.S.H to set a very vague TBR. But if I don't do it, I don't do it. It's absolutely fine. I think that is enough sort of excusing myself now. I think what we need to do is drink some of this coffee and quickly move on to playing the TBR game, because I'm filming this about 4 hours before it needs to be uploaded. So I need to move on with things quickly. So, quick rule explanation for anyone who hasn't watched one of these videos before. This is TBR M.A.S.H. It's my TBR game inspired by the childhood game of M.A.S.H. Usually you would use it to predict how your life is going to go. I use it to dictate my reading life. So every one of these cards has a prompt on them. I use a random number generator to work my way around the board, eliminating a prompt each time until there's only one left in each section, and that is the prompt that I use to pick the book that I'm going to read. Last month when I put this video up, Lisa left a comment saying that I got the rules down very well, because she just started her TBR game and was finding it difficult to explain it. I will say this is from nearly 2 years of practice now. That just came out of my head without any thought whatsoever, and I know it's exactly the same way I said it last month. I'm just it's just there and ready to go now. But now I have to change it slightly, because usually there are more extras. So usually I have a +1 card, which if one of those comes up, I have to pick an extra prompt. That's the one I've got rid of. There are no +1s on this board whatsoever. I do, however, have colours of prompts, and if the same colour comes up twice, I do have to pick an extra one. That is limited to one extra book, and it will be picked from these ones down here. Then we have a final prompt, which is M.A.S.H. In the game, it stands for mansion, apartment, shack, house. In this version, mansion is big book, apartment is a small book, shack is a book you've been putting off, and house is comfortable, so it's a mood read. So I think that is everything you need to know. I just need to grab my random number generator, and then we will pick the things. That's not everything you need to know. I've just remembered something, as always. Obligatory reads. I do have a couple, because I am now hosting a read-along. That being said, at the time of filming this, I haven't actually read the book for the live show that's happening on Wednesday, but I will do it for reread. It's fine, as is the second one in the series. So basically, I would like to try and get God's Grave by J. Kristoff onto my TBR at some point. I will be reading it anyway, so if it doesn't end up on my TBR, that's not a problem. I'm just gonna it'll just be an extra one that I add on, but this is one that I am trying to fit on there because it is a February book to read and the live show is going to be the beginning of March. I don't think there's any others. I have been like recently taking part in Schwab Along, but I'm going to skip the February one just because I only reread the series last year. It is the Monsters of Variety duology, and I reread the first one to finish the series and read the second one last year, so I don't feel like I need to reread it immediately. I'll probably still watch the live show, but I'm not going to reread it for that. And I don't think there are any other mandatory reads that I've got, so it's just God's Grave, and hopefully that will be able to be put on here. As for the rest of what I'm gonna pick, like if there's anything that I'm aiming to put on, there's no new releases that I'm particularly aiming to get on, but I am gonna try and stick with more like light-hearted things or things that have audiobooks for, because audiobooks do tend to be working a little bit more for me at the minute. Right, now I'm going to stop rambling because I've been filming for 7 minutes and I still haven't started playing. Let's pick a number to work around the board. So as always, I've set my parameters between 5 and 15, and the number we've got this time is 15. Oh, why does it have to be like the really long one to pick? Okay. I don't think we've had 15 come up before, but anyway, you guys don't need to see me count. Let's speed this up. I got really confused then because all of the things that were coming out were here, but apparently that is right. I did double check after I picked the second one. So let's see what the first prompt is, shall we? So we have got odd number. Pretty simple, it just needs to be an odd page number for the book. So obviously the first thing that I will do is check how many pages God's Grave is. So the last numbered page is here, which is 454, but then there is one page after it which is still part of the story. It's sort of like enticing you to come back to the next one, and that would make it 455. So I'm gonna go with God's Grave for this one. Nice and easy, get it on there to start off with, so I know that it's definitely covered in my TBR. I'll be reading God's Grave by J. Christoph. It's the second book in the Nevernight trilogy. I am a co-host of Christoph Along alongside Lisa and Catherine. Nevernight's first series we're reading. We're going to be doing the live show for the first book on the 1st of February if you want to join us, if you've still got time to read it. But otherwise, if you want to read Nevernight and God's Grave and catch up with us at the beginning of March, I'm not sure whose channel the second live show is going to be on. The first one is going to be on mine. The second one will be on either Catherine or Lisa's. I don't think we've decided who's yet, but there is a Twitter that I will link down below if you want to know the updates on it. Okay, so first book picked, quite happy with it. Let's pick our second prompt. Okay, that seemed to be like a little bit more how I expected it to go. I've got rid of things from other sections as well. So let's see what our second prompt is, if I can actually get it off of the board. So this also would have worked for God's Grave. This is series, so this is to read a book in a series, preferably to like continue on with a series if possible, because like I don't do enough of that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look on my Kindle and see if there's anything on there that I could read, because I am going to take my Kindle with me to New York, obviously too. I've got the plane journeys, so I could be reading then, but I don't want to be carrying like heavy books with me. So let me have a look and see. Okay, so I've got a few series on there, but they're all like start of a series, and I don't want to use this as a way to start a new series. I want it to be like continue a series. So I'm gonna have a look through my shelves. I have got an idea of one that I do want to read. It is one that I would be reading after New York, or possibly before, because it is one that I'd have to read at home. Although actually I've been listening to the audiobook of it, so that could potentially also work for plane journeys. So let me go and grab it, because I think that's what I'm going to put on my list. So the book I'm going to be reading for this is Heatwave by TJ Klune. This is the third and final book in the series that started with The Extraordinaries. I really enjoyed the first two. It's not my favourite TJ Klune book I've ever read. That's still like House and the Cerulean Sea, Under the Whispering Door, that sort of type of TJ Klune book. But I did enjoy this. It's one of his YA books. It's fun, quite cringy in places, and that's sometimes where it just like loses me a little bit. It's just like a little bit too much, but it's a superhero story with LGBTQ plus characters, and I had a great time reading it. And originally I put off reading the sequel for quite a while, and I don't want to do that with the last one in the series. I think I only read Flashfire like 2 or 3 months ago, sometime just before Christmas, so if I read this one now, it's not leaving it too long for it to sort of judge me on my shelves. So yeah, Heatwave by TJ Klune. Okay, it's time to pick our third prompt. Should we start down here? I could not figure out where I actually was then. We will now pick our third prompt. Okay, I should have checked actually. We've not got the same colour so far. We've got a yellow and an orange. We're okay. This one is flown away from me. Let me just grab it. So we've got a red, so we're okay. And it is a new release. Let me have a think about this, because I am not sure. I feel like I was trying to get stuff from my Kindle, and I feel like nothing from my Kindle is going to fit on this TBR, because I have got some ARCs, but I don't know if any of them like are coming out now, or if I've only got like ARCs that are well past the time that I should have read them, because that is a thing that happens. Let me have a check. Okay, so obviously everyone's going to class a new release as something different. I'm just going to qualify it and say that I'm going to say something that's released in like the last 3 months or so. And I do have one that actually I may take with me. I know I keep mentioning the trip, but I may take with me on the plane to New York, because it is quite a small one because it's paperback, and I wanted to read it, and I feel like it's one that's going to be good to sort of just read in one sitting, and that is, let me read the name, Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. Talia Hibbert is an author that I really like. I really liked the Brown Sister trilogy that she wrote. This is her YA debut. I'm expecting good things from it. Whilst I don't read quite as much YA as I used to, I feel like when it is an author that I really like for their adult stuff, I am definitely willing to give it a try for their YA stuff. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. It is... What does it say? It says, could you brave the wilderness with your highly suspicious and unfairly cute ex-best friend? I can't speak. Bradley Graham is pretty much perfect. He's a star football player, manages his OCD well enough, and comes out on top in all his classes, except for the ones he shares with Celine Bangura. They used to be best friends until Brad decided he was too cool for conspiracy theory obsessed Celine and abandoned her for the popular kids table. At least that's how Celine sees it. These days there's nothing between them but insults and academic rivalry. So when Celine signs up for a 2-part survival course in the woods, the last thing she expects is to find Brad right beside her. As the adventure brings them closer together, they start to remember all the good parts of their history, but has too much time passed or just enough to spark a whole new kind of relationship. Yeah, this sounds fun. I'm gonna take this one on the plane with me, hopefully. So yeah, happy with that one. Now we just have one more to pick, and then we'll pick M.A.S.H, unless obviously we end up having to pick an extra, but we'll see how it goes. Let's pick our 4th and hopefully final of the regular prompts. Okay, so let's see what it is. I'm just gonna do this. I do have to pick an extra one, of course I do. This one is red. It is adult, which could literally mean anything, so that is good. Well, not anything, obviously. If it's YA or middle grade, it won't mean that, but in terms of like the genre, it could be anything. So this time I will actually pick something that is on my Kindle. Let me once again pick this up and see what I'm wanting to read off of here, because there are a lot of books. Okay, so I think I'm going to carry on with the theme of adult romances, and I am going to read, actually I've got a few. Which one do I pick? I think I'm going to go with the Bromance Book Club, which is one that I've been wanting to read for a while, and actually I got an ARC of one of the later ones in the series. Like, it was when I first got NetGalley and I was just requesting anything and everything, and had not read the earlier one, so I haven't been able to read the ARC, which makes me feel awful. But I did buy the first book on like a 99p deal not that long ago, so it's on my Kindle. So I think I'm gonna read that one again, sort of for the journey, because now I've got sort of like 2 romances for like flight out and flight back, and then if I do manage to read anything during the week, it's a bonus. I like this. I feel like this is setting up well. I do now though need to pick an extra from down here. So to pick the extra, we don't sort of eliminate, we just go on which one it lands on. So I'm not going to speed this up. We'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And it is not the one that's just thrown itself off at me. It is this one instead, which is Phone a Friend. So this means that I have to ask a friend to pick a book for me. So what I'm going to have to do, because I'm filming on my phone at the minute, is to come back to you momentarily, and I will add a clip in here to say what it is that someone's picked. Let's be truthful, it's probably going to be Meg that I phone. I've already been like speaking to her this morning, so it's probably going to be quickest to get her to answer me. And also I feel like she's going to be kind to me because she is also going on the trip, so she also knows that my TBR needs to be small. So yeah, we'll probably use Meg for this time, and then if this comes up again I will rotate through my friends. So I will do that and add that clip in here. Okay, angle change, because obviously I had to take you off of the stand in order to send a message to Meg saying, can you please pick a book for me? Also, I've realised that I have picked M.A.S.H and you haven't seen it yet, so I've just taken it off so you don't know what I've got on there. But the pick that Meg has given me is, I'm going to have to read this again, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sengu Mandana, which is a book that Meg has been shouting about a lot. She tends to shout about her favourites, and I bought it partly because I'd heard good things from her about it, and she's being nice to me because it is, I'm hoping, an easier read. It doesn't look too long. It is a hardback, so I won't be taking it with me when I travel, but should be like a nice easier one to read when I get back, because you will see in a minute what else I have to read when I get back and whether or not this is like kind to me in that respect. So thank you to Meg for picking this one for me again. I don't really know too much. I'll just read what is on the back. It says, witch wanted. Living tutor wanted for 3 young witches. Must have nerves of steel. Previous teaching experience not necessary. Witchiness essential. So obviously it is about some young witches and they get a new tutor. And yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to read it. So thank you again to Meg for picking this for me. Back to the regular video. I wonder what she picked. Now what I'm going to do is to pick M.A.S.H. and we will see. Hopefully this is kind to me. We all know we're trying to avoid mansion. We don't want to add a big book, do we? Okay, let's see how it goes. Why did I say that? Why did I say it? Like, I just jinxed myself completely. So I need a big book, a book that is over 500 pages. Okay, right. What do I even need to read at the minute? I have no idea. Let me go and have a look. It's actually worked out okay. It's worked out in my favour. I realised I said I had no other obligation reads. It's because I don't technically, but there is a book club that I would like to watch the live show for. And it is a catch-up book club, which is now doing the Joe Abercrombie series. And the first one in that they've read over January and February. I haven't read it yet, so I'm planning on reading it in February. I think I'm supposed to be buddy reading it actually with Meg and Lisa, maybe. Like, I know we've all spoke about it, so maybe we'll be buddy reading it. At least somebody I'm buddy reading it with. And this one is 536 pages apparently, and it is Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I have no idea what it's about, but I'm just gonna see what it's like. I'm not even gonna try and give you a synopsis. I'm not gonna read the back of it. I'm just gonna say that I will be reading this month. There we go. So my TBR at the minute looks like this, plus the Bromance Book Club, which is on my Kindle, and then whatever I'm assuming Meg has picked for me for this, which I'm hoping is going to be just some sort of like easy romance. I feel like she's going to be nice to me. We will see. But yeah, not too bad. It's definitely doable. Like I said, this one, these two probably, and then Bromance Book Club are the ones that I'm going to look at, like they're my options for while I'm in New York, and then the other ones are to read when I get back. And hopefully I'll be more in a headspace to read these nice fantasy books when I get back. But yeah, we will see. So that is everything. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. Let me know what you're planning on reading in the month of February, and I will see you guys soon with a new video. Bye.